Chapter 3 Finding a Place on a Map. Back in the 1860s, building the Transcontinental Railroad was back-breaking work. The workers didn't have any modern equipment. They used hammers, shovels, and explosives to move earth and rock. They carried each heavy steel rail by hand. Workers placed the rails on wooden ties and hammered steel spikes into place to hold the rails. Then the workers moved on. They placed more ties. They hauled more rails. They drove more spikes. There were different crews of laborers. For one long section of the railway line, a crew started in Omaha, Nebraska. This crew built the railway heading west. The other crew started in Sacramento, California. This crew built the railway heading east. It seemed like an impossible job, but the two armies of workers laid mile after mile of track. For 6 years the work progressed. Finally, on May 10, 1869, the two railroads met. The place was Promontory Point, Utah. Where on earth is Promontory Point? Its exact location is 41 degrees 38 minutes north, 112 degrees 30 minutes west. You've studied latitude and longitude. You know about degrees. What are the extra numbers in the coordinates? The extra numbers are called minutes. The first coordinate for Promontory Point is 41 degrees 38 minutes north. Recall, parallels of latitude are 69 miles apart. Meridians are also many miles apart in most places. Sometimes map makers want to be able to pinpoint spots between parallels of latitude and between meridians of longitude, so they divide degrees into smaller units. There are 60 minutes in 1 degree. When writing the coordinates, they use the symbol to stand for minutes. So 38 minutes is read as 38 minutes. Remember, minutes of latitude and longitude are not units of time. Instead, they are units of space. You can't assume that because 2 points are 2 minutes apart in latitude, that it would take you 2 minutes to get from one to another. The coordinates for Promontory Point are 41 degrees 38 minutes north, 112 degrees 30 minutes west. You can use these coordinates to find the location of Promontory Point on a map. You know that latitude measures distances north and south of the equator, so the coordinate that ends with N for north or S for south is the latitude. That would be 41 degrees 38 minutes north. Longitude indicates locations east and west of the prime meridian, so 112 degrees 30 minutes west is the longitude. Look at the map on page 27, which shows the United States in 1869. You will recognize most of the states. However, many of the states west of the Mississippi River had not yet been formed. The government called these places territories. Somewhere out in the territories is Promontory Point. Can you find it? This map shows parallels and meridians every 5 degrees. See if you can locate the coordinates for Promontory Point. First, look along the west side of the map. You won't find 41 degrees 38 minutes north, so locate the parallel of latitude closest to it. That is the 40 degrees north parallel. The place you're looking for will be 1 degree 38 minutes north of this parallel. Think about it this way. There are 5 degrees between each parallel shown on the map, so 1 degree is less than half of the distance between the parallels. Estimate, or carefully guess, where that place is. Put your left index finger there. Now look along the northern area of the map. Locate the meridian of longitude closest to 112 degrees 30 minutes west. Once again, this exact meridian is not shown, but 112 degrees 30 minutes west will be about halfway between the 110 degrees and 115 degrees meridians. Put your right index finger on this meridian. With your 2 fingers still on the map, move them toward each other, following the parallel and meridian they are marking. The place where your 2 fingers meet, where the meridian and parallel cross, is Promontory Point. Now look at the map and find Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha is located at 41 degrees 18 minutes north and 95 degrees 57 minutes west. Compare the coordinates of Omaha and Promontory Point. You can see that the railroad went a long way west, but it only went a tiny bit north. The Transcontinental Railroad linked the eastern United States with the West Coast. Even earlier, the Pony Express was the way mail was sent across the Wild West. Riders on horseback carried the mail along the Pony Express route. They changed horses about every 10 miles. After 100 miles, a rider handed the mail to another rider. The new rider carried it for another 100 miles. The route ran from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California. It was almost 2,000 miles long. Mail took about 10 days to get from one end to the other. Today there is a Pony Express Museum in St. Joseph. There you can learn all about the Pony Express. You can see pictures of the riders. You can also learn about the dangers they faced. Let's imagine that your parents or relatives have agreed to take you to the museum. First, you have to find out where St. Joseph, Missouri is located. Remember, you can use computers and applications to find this information, but it is also useful to know the skills for finding this kind of information in other ways. To find St. Joseph, you could start with a book of maps called an atlas. An atlas has an index. Look at the sample index on page 31. It shows coordinates for St. Joseph. It also shows the page where you will find the map in which St. Joseph appears. Let's take a closer look at St. Joseph, Missouri to learn about different types of coordinates that are used on road maps. Imagine that you are on a sightseeing trip with your family. Since you are such a map expert, you have been given the map. Your task is to find the Pony Express Museum on a map of St. Joseph. Instead of looking all over the map, start with the road map index. This is like the index in a book. It lists all the places shown on the map. It also gives their coordinates. The index gives you these coordinates, C2. You're puzzled. These are different coordinates from those for latitude and longitude. Many local highway maps give coordinates as letters and numbers. They are simpler to use on maps of small areas. Look at the map of St. Joseph above. Notice that the letters run down the side of the map. Meanwhile, the numbers run along the top. You are looking for the coordinates C2. Put one finger on the space marked 2. Put another finger on the space marked C. Follow the spaces until they meet. Somewhere close to where your fingers meet is the Pony Express Museum. You have a great time at the Pony Express Museum. Your mother decides she wants to see the Albrecht Kemper Art Museum, but she can't find it on the map. Can you? The map index will tell you that the coordinates are A4, but how will you get there? And about how far is it from the Pony Express Museum?